Await no longer. Terror has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a podcast made by the ghouls for the fiends. Tonight is a Halloween special. And what's truly terrifying is that every week I, alongside my best friend Kyle, talk about the most horrific things happening in PlayStation and video games every single Thursday. Delightful. Here, as always, the ghostly one. Kyle. No, wait. No, the co-host who is previous past. I don't know. Welcome, Kyle. Welcome to the Halloween episode of the Trophy Room. And I've butchered way too much. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. Wish I had some sort of costume, planned out. But I'm a little bit more on brand because I have some whiskey in here. Feeling great. It goes on theme with the game we've been playing, which we'll get to in a little bit. But how you doing, Joe?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. This room is 80 degrees, and I don't know why. And there's no fan in here. I don't know why. And this robe was made out of wool. I don't know why. And so I'm melting. I'm melting right now. But you know what? It's good because Red Dead happened. I've been playing a whole bunch of it. So we have a whole lot of Red Dead news. A whole lot of, Fallout beta news. Before we get into that, though, I want to give a very, very brief impressions of Red Dead Redemption 2 for the PlayStation 4. Sir, you've been playing it on a PlayStation 4 Pro, correct?
Correct, yes.
And is it on a 4K TV or not?
Not 4K, unfortunately.
So, how is your overall, not even overall, just touching base, because we want to do a discussions video. We're going to be doing that tomorrow, probably uploading it tomorrow as well. So, just for the layman out there, how are you enjoying Red Dead so far?
I don't want to get too into it because, like you said, we have an impression thing we're doing tomorrow. Yeah. It has its ups and downs. Sometimes I'm engaged. Other times I am bored out of my mind. And it's weird. The game's beautiful. But it has some things. I think Rockstar made some really silly choices.
Yeah.
And not saying they're awful choices, but it's not what I was expecting. So
okay. How many hours are you into Red Dead so far?
Hours, I'm not sure, but I've just checked game of completion. I'm at like 18%.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm taking my time. I'm still doing some tutorial stuff, I guess, because it's still teaching me how to do some things.
What's the last thing it taught you? Because I can kind of guesstimate.
Last thing was crafting.
Crafting. Okay. All right.
Like setting up a camp. And
okay,
stuff.
Yeah. You're still early on. Okay, That's good. So with that, you said that there's some silly things, there's some good things.
Yeah.
What are very vague, very brief, because or else this could be a 40-minute episode.
Yeah.
What are those things? What are the good things about this game?
Good things is I'm a sucker for details, and the details in this is great. Yeah. It doesn't detract me from the game at all. I love all the little details of how people react to you and remember you. I love going through the world and having people scream for help, and these really weird and crazy things happen sometimes, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's some other things that we'll get into in the full impression thing, but it's gorgeous. I think I like Arthur, which is weird because he's not a great guy.
I mean, yeah.
Like I'm trying to play him as a guy who's trying to do some good things, but there's some missions where it's hard to keep that track.
Yeah,
which annoys me a little bit, but
he very much isn't a good person, right?
Yeah,
he kills, he steals, but there's this weird. He has a very strange moral compass because I do find myself rooting for him and the outlaws. How do you feel about the story and the characters so far?
Oh, it's fantastic.
I think that's the strongest suit of this game.
100%, and it's what Rockstar does well. I think it really plans out its characters, and each character feels different, and even to like some NPCs, it's great, and the voice acting is fantastic
across the board.
Across
the board, it's great.
In the first town, Valentine, you go to the hotel. I was like, wait, the hotel owner sounds super familiar.
Is he the guy from Achievement Hunter?
Yes, it is Jack.
It is Jack Patillo. Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, no, that can't be it. And then I kept going back in to hear him talk. I was like, oh crap, that's awesome.
That's awesome. And also, by God, where's my little, where's my character? Where's my saloon man?
If there's a time where Rockstar is going to make Red Dead 3, we need to start a hashtag petition.
By God, that's like 18 years away. That's I want it now, by God, now.
DLC,
by God. All right, I'll take DLC. So this game, I want to be very truthful with everybody. I had high hopes because the original Red Dead is one of my favorite games of all time. The first 3 hours, I'm going to be real as anything. I hated this game. I did not like it at all. There are some choices that Rockstar made for the sake of detail, but not for the sake of the player. And those details, like the core system, there's a system for your health, a system for your stamina, and your system for your Deadeye is awful. It's not good. And I would like it replaced. I'm going to be just real with you guys. I don't like how I have to be constantly eating, constantly drinking, constantly going into a menu in order to have a successful, quote unquote, successful shootout with people. It's actually, it inhibits my gameplay. Me having to stop so much in order to play, that annoys me greatly. And I think that's my biggest beef with this game, is that the core system I'm not a fan of, and it has still not won me over. I am a third into the story so far, a little bit more so. And I can say now at this point safely that I want the old Deadeye system back. I don't like this one. Overall, though, I think the strength of this game is the world. The world is stunning. This world, I'm going to say something because I know there's a lot of Nintendo fans out here. This shits on Breath of the Wild. This absolutely destroys it on any level. Because, I'm sorry, but I'm going to call you out here. I'm sorry, Mr. Play Nintendo, Mr. Donnie Reese. Oh, it's just 10-minute, horse rides. What the fuck is Breath of the Wild but like 10 minutes to get from point A to point B, and somewhere the magic of Breath of the Wild is somewhere in between. You run into something, you stumble into something, you stumble onto a temple. It's the journey, it's not the destination. And for anybody that's complaining about that, I do understand there's some story beats where you're just riding and nothing happens. That's boring, and I think that's a criticism. But to say, oh, I'm just riding from point A to point B and nothing happens, what are you playing? This isn't, no, like, for example, I was riding along, and there was a guy he got a snake bite, and I had to suck the venom out of him. He's like, suck the venom, Courtney. I was like, I'm not going to suck your venom. And I did. I sucked his venom. He was very charming. What can I say? He gave me a drink. And, but like, and then afterwards, I run up to a guy that he goes, sir, I'm lost. He tries to rob me, pull me from my horse, try to steal my horse. And I shoot him in the back of the head. I'm like, holy crap. And then, Kyle, the middle of the night happens. I'm riding from destination. There's a forest. I'm in a swamp, and there's lights in this dead forest. Again, this has nothing to do with the story. I go, what the fuck is this? I walk up closer. They're white hooded men. I'm like, holy shit, is this the KKK? I saw this on Twitter. Yeah. And so I walk up and I'm like, oh, Arthur Morgan's going to go to town on these guys. But then a part of me said, Joe, don't shoot him. Don't. Because it's bad on both sides. And I walked up to him, and they were inducting a person into one of their ranks. And when they lit the cross on fire, it's a burning cross, the fire, to these racist sons of bitches, one of the flames reaches one of their coats, and it lights him on fire.
Yes.
And then it lights the inductee because the torch falls. It falls on him. He gets lit on fire. They go, Paul's on fire. Everybody, scatter. They all just disperse like the cowardly racists they are. And I'm just awesome. This game's breathtaking. This game's beautiful. Yeah. Dude, by God.
Before you continue to get too far, I just want to share a quick little story thing that happened to me before we hopped on. So I was riding my horse, named Peyton, by the way. What's the name of your horse?
Nancy 1 and Nancy 2.
Ah, okay. I haven't lost Peyton yet, but I got some.
I haven't lost Nancy 1. He's in the stable. Yeah.
Perfect. I was just riding Peyton along the trail, and some guy is like struggling with a horseshoe on his horse.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey there, feller." I like how they say feller. "Hey there, feller. Can you help me with my horse?" And then the horse breaks free and kicks him in the head, and he's dead.
Yup.
I just stood there with my jaw open. It's like, wait, what? And that was it. It was over. Then I went to go like loot his body. Because why not? He's dead. He's not using anything. And then some guy caught me and was gonna go call the police saying I killed him. So I had to track him down. Like, these are the things in the world
shoot
that
him too. That's what I've been doing.
I haven't shot anybody that hasn't deserved it yet.
Oh, I wish I could say the same, but I definitely, dude. There's one. This is it, and then I'll move on from here. There's one where I completed a mission. And I walk by, and there's an outhouse in the middle of the forest, and they've put their family member's like deranged sister in the outhouse. That's where they keep her, and all she's doing is constantly counting numbers and trying to count to 5. And then like I walk a little bit out of the woods, and there's been a very strange murder, and I have and like deranged, like even Arthur Morgan. First off, when all the KKK members die, Arthur Morgan does have a set of moralities, because you hear him say, and this is really excellent too, is like, "Oh, I can't wait to kill every one of these sons of bitches." And I'm like, yeah, at least you're not a racist. Like, but like he looks at this murder scene, and I think it just like on the tree branch written in like blood, I think it's like "Behold," and it's a strung up body, and it's just a gross, grotesque murder. And like Arthur's just like, what's happened here? This is, I don't want to cross a man that did this. And like the world Arthur interacts with as you're interacting with it.
Yeah.
He is the player just like you're the player. And that's where the biggest strength is. And I think the story overall is something that we've all witnessed. It's a Western. It's not anything new, but it's the characters that very, very much make this story. And I think it suffers from the first few hours. I would like to say the first 5 hours. Very boring. Very boring.
I will say, as someone who has not played the first one, the first thing that I thought of playing through those first couple hours was, this is Rockstar's love letter to Westerns.
Oh, absolutely.
This is because I love Western movies.
Yeah.
True Grit, No Country for Old Men, which I consider a Western. Django, of course. Like, it's all those, like, landscape shots while you're riding, and just the way things are framed and interaction between characters. It is a typical awesome love letter from Rockstar to Western entertainment as a whole. Yeah.
So overall, I am enjoying it. I do not think it's better than the first one. I still have my nostalgia glasses on. But I will answer. There is one question here from Edward Varnell. He asks this: would you ever have a discussion themed about innovation versus polish? For example, Nintendo games tend to innovate, where Rockstar games tends to or tries to polish. And then I add a little bit here. Does Red Dead Redemption 2 innovate? So, what do you think of this question? First off, thank you, Edward. Thank you so much for writing in Twitter, PS Trophy Room. But what do you think of this question?
Yeah, I think Rockstar does a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think when they polish, for sure, they polish the hell out of this game.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to this, and again, I'm not super far, but the things that they were trying to innovate, I think they might have went a little too far and just innovated for the sake of innovating. I feel like when it comes to like what you said, the core system, a couple other like gameplay things, like I hate tapping X. constantly. I feel like I'm always constantly tapping X to make my horse go faster and to keep up with other people. It's annoying. But
I suggest holding X.
Well, I do that, yeah, but then, if I want to get faster to get away from people, you got to tap to go faster. Yeah, so I think they're polished beyond belief. And I think when it comes to this, for me, they just try to innovate as much as they could, and it might have gotten away from them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, when it comes to innovation versus polish, I think Nintendo does both. Like, this is a PlayStation podcast, but I think all of them tend to try their best to do both. But I think, for the most part, Nintendo succeeds at doing that. And I also think, for the most part, Rockstar does do the same as well. I think with innovation comes risks, and you can either risk something, like, for example, the three-way protagonists via GTA 5. That was
that just popped in my head.
That was something I've never seen before. Like, just constantly changing, not just peripherals, but like changing entire scenery in just instants, right? Like, that's innovation. But did it succeed? Did you see multiple games copy that? To an extent, sure. But no, because Rockstar's found that gamers didn't like that three-way story that was happening, and they kind of went against that. So I do think, like, Rockstar does innovate. I think Nintendo does innovate. But I think when it comes to innovation, it's a word that's thrown around so much that it's completely lost its meaning, because what's innovation to me is not what innovation is to you, or to you, Edward. It's something totally different. So I would say, what is your definition of innovate? Because to me, again, I think Breath of the Wild does innovate in how you build an open world, for sure. But I also feel like Red Dead Redemption builds off that and then some. Like how the world talks to you in Red Dead Redemption. Like what I just noted with like the KKK and like Arthur saying something real nasty to him, right? Like that's definitely innovation. Like the guy that I sucked the venom out of, literally 4 hours afterwards, I come into town. And he's like, hey, mister, you sucked the venom out of my leg. And I was just like, dude, you fucking promised not to tell anybody. And he's just like, anything you want in the story is yours. And I'm like, holy shit, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I think, I do think they do things that are successful in innovation and builds off of the successes of not just like games like Breath of the Wild, but other games as well, and does them in awesome, unique ways that is more than just fetch quests. Things happen. So yeah, I don't know if there's a satisfying answer to that question, but I think there's a balance of both. I think you need polish to have successful innovation, or else it's just a gimmick, right? If motion controls, like when you hear motion controls are in a video game, you're like, oh God, so stupid. I don't need it. You think of it as a gimmick, but when motion controls work, you tend to think, wow, that's an awesome way to use, that motion. Like how you use the Move controllers in VR. That's so intriguing. When you're trying to grab something, you got to use the triggers. Like that's awesome. So I think there's a fine balance between both. That's what I gotta say on that. Anything you'd like to add, sir?
Nope, I'm good. I'll save it. I'll save all the other stuff for impression video.
By God, what a great idea. With that, let's go to the news, shall we? Because it's more Red Dead Redemption news that I am so excited to tell you all about. By God. Red Dead Redemption 2 shatters sales records in the opening weekend. By God. According to Rockstar Games, and this comes from Screen Rant, Red Dead Redemption 2 earned a record-breaking $725 million opening weekend, although it soars past Avengers Infinity War's movie record for $640 million. Holy crap. Yeah. On its opening weekend, Arthur Morgan's Wild West adventure is still a long ways off of Grand Theft Auto 5, which earned over $1 billion shares within its first 3 days. That being said, GTA 5 launched on a Tuesday, which leaves Red Dead Redemption 2 free to claim the title of the highest opening weekend. So it's kind of like an asterisk on that. In other news, and this is actually more exciting to me, Red Dead Redemption 2 is faring particularly well on the PlayStation 4. Rockstar has also reported that the game has the most number of Sony Interactive Entertainment pre-orders ever, highest day one sales, and highest sales for the first 3 days on the PlayStation Network. Red Dead Redemption 2 is currently the highest critically reviewed game on the PlayStation 4, and considering that Sony saw the release of exclusives like God of War and Spider-Man in 2018, it's great news for Rockstar. And then to continue off of this, to piggyback off of this, Sony's exclusive deal with Rockstar pays off. This I took from Eurogamer. Sony will be happy enough, at least with its marketing deal and huge install base paying off, with over 68% of share of sales are on the PlayStation 4, leaving Xbox with 32%. So, okay, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, it is. Also, can we petition to make Red Dead Redemption 2's new title to be Arthur Morgan's Wild West Adventure? Because I love that as a title.
By God, we can indeed. I'm role-playing as Arthur Morgan.
Oh, sweet.
I've
You're
been
doing a great job.
deputized. Yeah, so with that, what do you think of this news, Kyle? Pretty damn rad, right?
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, $725 million on a weekend. It's to match with Rockstar and GTA 5, which made $1 billion in its first 3 days. Rockstar is at the top of the food chain when it comes to game developers, it feels like. And nothing they can do is wrong. When it comes to these games, people love them because the games are ultimately fun and has a dedicated fan base. But man, that's a lot of money, Joe.
Yeah, that's a ton of cash to consider.
For a game, too.
Yeah, so to consider this, to me, this makes me really proud happy because I love Red Dead Redemption, and this is technically the third game in the series because we had Red Dead Revolver. But let's kind of just move that aside, as this is a sequel to Red Dead Redemption, not so much Revolver that's in the universe. So technically you've had 3 games in the series, but look at Grand Theft Auto. How many games has that thing had? It's not 5. When you take in like the DS ports, DS games, the PSP games, even the spin-offs, Vice City and San Andreas. Yep. Dude, holy crap. So just the name Rockstar, it carries something now. What's your greatest hope to see out of this news, of all the money it has made? What's the one standing thing, your standing hope?
Does it have to be tied to Red Dead?
No, it could just be to video games in general.
Well, it's specifically when I think of this news and I think of Rockstar, it makes me hopeful that they see this and commit to maybe a Bully sequel, because good Lord, I would love a new Bully game.
Yeah.
That would make a ton of money. But in just video game scope, it's huge. Games aren't going anywhere. Another, at this moment, single player game that is selling really well. It's fantastic. Gaming's alive and well, Joe.
Yeah.
This year has no right to be as good as it has been.
Both single player and multiplayer, they can live in one place. Like not Grand Theft Auto, God of War, you have Spider-Man. Then you have Red Dead Redemption 2, which will have a robust online feature, but we don't really know when it's going to be out. It's going to be out in November. We just don't know a set date. This is terrific news for single player gaming. And I really do think that now we can start hopefully looking past video games as something that children do, because we see the demographic is changing. It's constantly getting older. And the one thing that I hope, the silver lining out of this, take all the BS, like overtime controversies and whatnot out of it, is that we can stop looking at games like Red Dead or GTA as murder simulators and start experiencing them for what they are. That they're works of art. They truly are. And so my hope is that we take games like Red Dead Redemption 2, and I hope that we learn, as other media and news outlets learn, that video games have a place, and we're bigger than the movie industry. That we deserve that type of respect. You know, put respect on our name. Absolutely. And also, the craziest thing here, I want to now talk about the whole exclusive thing with Sony. This is in the UK, so we don't know about this in America, buggo. Just round up, 2%. 2/3 of the sales came from PlayStation. Whereas Xbox constantly touts power. We're the best place to play. Red Dead Redemption looks great on the Pro, but from what I've been hearing from everybody, it looks stellar on the X. Yeah. What do you think about this type of news? What does it tell you about Sony still?
I mean, it tells me that a lot of people own PlayStations, which we'll get to later in the show. And it makes sense that people who own a PlayStation are buying this game. Yeah. And not many people who own it are missing out, it feels like. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show with the install base that Sony has and the smart business decisions that they are doing by locking up deals like this, like on Call of Duty, controlling the messaging, right? Because you saw it constantly, right? With FIFA, Spider-Man, you had Call of Duty, you had now this game right here. All the big games this holiday all have Sony's brand somewhere in there. And I think it just goes to show the domination that Sony continues to have, though Microsoft's making terrific headway with their community. It just kind of still shows the lasting impression that Sony has this generation that cannot be taken for granted. Because I feel like everybody thinks, the next generation, 1 to 2 years, who knows, this is going to be a whole different game. And as long as Sony plays their cards right, the way that they're playing it right now, I feel like we're going to be fine. If anything, I hope next generation is way more competitive. I want Xbox to do great. But I feel like everybody's just going, well, okay, Xbox has learned everything from their mistakes this generation. The slate's going to be clean next generation. I don't know if that's inherently true or not. Because we don't know if Microsoft's learned all their lessons, because we don't know if any of those first-party games or those first-party, companies are going to produce the games that are going to make hits. So, I don't know, man. This is awesome news, though. That's what I do know. This is just Sony continuing to be dominant in the business portion, and that's where it all really matters at the end of the day. We can brag about horsepower all we want, but when it comes to actual sales numbers, Sony kicking ass. With that, absolutely. Eric writes in, with the current release of Red Dead Redemption and the amount of outcry that it has gotten with the level of detail in its world, do you believe that other companies will take note from Rockstar and to attempt to replicate the sheer level of detail in its open world, or is this more of a Rockstar only type of deal? What do you think, Kyle?
I would at first glance say this is kind of like a Rockstar deal. But I also want to take into account that it took Rockstar, 8 years to do a sequel to this? And they've been working on this for almost that entire time, I feel like. So with that amount of time, then, of course, games are going to have more detail in it. I think other game studios and developers are looking at this, and, of course, they want to have this level of detail in their game. Yeah, it just pushes the boundary for games and pushes all the other developers to meet that level, that high bar. It raises the competition a little bit.
Yeah, all you need is one creative person to play a game. Yep. Right. Like this game, I feel like is a stepping stone. This game doesn't get things right. There's a point where detail does get in the way of this game and enjoying this game, but there's going to be a game that takes that bit of learning, that someone's going to play this game and go, you know what? I can make a game better. And I think when you take a look at what CD Projekt Red is doing, I think they're playing this game. And I think they're taking notes. Because Cyberpunk definitely, this gave me, I know this sounds weird, but cyberpunk vibes of the level and the attention to detail.
Gotcha. With everything you can do and stuff.
With everything you can do in this game, and how the world is more breathing and it's more real. And that's what I really think that Red Dead does. If you're going to say innovate, this is where the beginning is. Yep. Is that the next step of open world games is now in its livability. Like, does this feel alive or not? Because I don't think there are as many open world games where, you know, we talk about like Spider-Man, that feels like inhabited. But there's not a lot of other open world games that go, wow, this is truly alive. And my actions actually have a ripple effect in this world. I think that's what you're going to start to see if there's anything you take away from this game. But this is a stepping stone. This is going to be the first of many games to learn off this. So I don't think it's just a Rockstar thing. With that, let's get to our next bit of news, shall we, Kyle?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The first look at Medieval. Remade from the grave up. This comes from Push Square. Whether you picked up the original or never heard of the original, we know you'll love the sword-swinging, perilous puzzles and enchanting environments, wrote Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden. I could tell you for a fact, he didn't write that. On the PlayStation blog, we'll exhume more information about... Now, he definitely wrote that. He sounds like a guy
I love the puns.
Oh, man. Okay, about Medieval in the upcoming months, so stay tuned. By God. Kyle?
Yeah.
You got some thoughts on this? I saw
did.
you on Twitter.
I did.
Let me hear it. What are your... Where do you come from this game?
I know of Sir Dante Fortescue, obviously from back in the day on PS1. I never owned any of the games. Okay. I did own a demo disc, though, where it had a small slice of Medieval on there, and I would play it all the time. I thought it was a fun game. And what my biggest takeaway from this trailer of the remake, not remaster, is when they were showing what it used to look like and what it looks like now. I think this might be one of the best transformations or remakes in terms of visual things. Because if you look at Crash and you look at Spyro, they get an overhaul, but just the way the Medieval, everything from the old game now in this new trailer makes it look like more creepy, and you get more of a vibe of a little bit more of like a horror element. And I loved it. I loved what I saw. It looks like it's taking a PlayStation 1 era game.
Yeah.
And it's reinventing it for in today's time.
I think because I saw on I was trying to get the name of this channel because they do great work. They're out in Britain. They're a PlayStation centric show. And I think it's like every Thursday or Friday, they sit down, and the latest video was 7 PlayStation 1 demos we played constantly but never bought the games. That is literally the PlayStation 1 to me. So many demo discs, no games for whatsoever with that. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. But like for me, I mean, I have a video up, and I think it's fantastic. You guys should check it out. But I never really bothered with Medieval. It was never my cup of tea. But watching this video, I was just like, man, this is an obscure game. Like, I don't think... I mean, it's safe to say. This game isn't going to get Crash numbers or Spyro numbers.
No, it's not. But he did make the All-Stars Battle Royale roster.
So take that, Crash. Take that.
Take that, Crash.
But to me, I was just like, man, there's going to be fans of this game that are so excited. And I can't, like, that's the thing that gets me excited. And I saw a couple people poo-poo this, and I'm just like, guys, not every game has to be for you.
Yep.
Please stop. Someone's really excited. Let them have this moment, Kanye. Let them have this moment. Absolutely. And that's the thing that, like, I love when people get excited for stuff that I'm not necessarily into, because I know what that feeling is, and it's a beautiful feeling that we don't get enough. And constantly, like, and whether that's in real life or as gamers, there's never that moment of like, oh my God, this is all, we get it so rarely. It happens every once in a while. So I'll be honest. I watched it and I'm like, listen, this isn't gonna be my game of the year next year, but this is gonna be fun as hell, and I can't wait. Like I'm gonna be purchasing this game. I think it's also safe to say this is gonna be a $30-$40 game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is not a $60 game, so calm down. Please calm down, people.
You know what it reminded me of
What's
a little
that
bit?
about, God?
Did you ever play the Maximo games on PS2?
Never in my life.
Oh, it reminded me a little bit of that, like where if you were attacked, like you would lose pieces of clothing, and eventually you were in your boxers, and that's when you know if you got hit, you're dead. Yeah. So it kind of gave me a little bit of that vibe, and those games are fun. So yeah, I'm all in.
I love it, and I love how it's on Halloween. Yeah. This is when the trailer drops. Do you think that next Halloween that's when the game is going to drop, or do you think this is a summer game?
Yes. I feel like they might shoot for the crash window. Okay. So a summer game around June, maybe.
All right. And then maybe drop the price when it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, like, I said this in a video, but I know it kind of sucks because it means you have to wait a whole year. But man, I would just think the theme, like to me, it screamed Nightmare Before Christmas. Yep. I was just actually looking at a comment on the video, and there looks like someone, and it may be Fort Montesquieu himself because his icon was there, but it was actually heavily inspired by it. So that's kind of cool. Like that's awesome. Again, I love this. And this is a question yet again from Eric, and you can send questions into us. And if they're good enough, if they get through the Great Wall of Joseph, then they get onto the show. I read them out loud. And Eric, man, he's just every week, he's like, here's 18. Pick. I'm like, all right. So here you go. With the trailer of Medieval up, as well as oh no, I missed out. This could be a creepy voice one. Oh well. As well as the upcoming release for Spyro Reignited Trilogy, my question is this. What sort of old school PS1 or 2 game would you like to see be totally remade with updated graphics, improved gameplay, that sort of thing? So we talked about what games we'd like to be remastered, but what is a game? Yeah. And I'm going to kind of translate this so it fits. What is a game that would not work today, but if you can have it and you could give it modern controls, a modern look, what would that game be?
Well, I think my answer is the same from what I said when we talked about remastered PS1, PS2 games, and it's Brave Fencer Musashi. I think I said that in that episode.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite PS1 games. It's very much a PlayStation answer of Zelda, where you kind of have to go through and master certain elements like fire, wind, earth type of thing.
I mean, you could say that Zelda took, maybe even blatantly copied whatever you just said.
Sure. Yeah, if you want. I don't know.
I just want to piss off some
This is coming from somebody who's never played a Zelda game, so take that.
Oh, really? You never have?
Never. I played 15 minutes of Breath of the Wild, and that was it.
15 minutes?
But yeah, I know, Joe. I'm sorry. This PlayStation podcast, though. That's why I'm here.
I love it. I'm just like, holy shit, you never played Majora's Mask.
No, I haven't. Brave Fencer Musashi is the reason I wanted to buy a PlayStation. Okay. And I just love that game, and I think looking back on it now, I know how clunky that was to control and how frustrating it was to kind of move around through that world. And if it gets remade with like the gameplay thing specifically, I don't give a crap what it looks like. Okay. If they just tweak the gameplay on that and make it a little bit more responsive, it's gonna do so well. I would love that.
I'm gonna stop everything right here, right now. You ready for this?
Ready.
Now, if I was Shu. Oh, yes, I'm bringing this into this question right here. Now, if I'm Shuhei Yoshida, right? We know Shuhei Yoshida, he runs the first party at Sony. He's doing a bang-up job. We also probably know he's just the CEO. He's the founder, by all means. He's probably the Illuminati. If I was Shuhei Yoshida, the game that I would be remaking from the ground up, GoldenEye.
Interesting.
GoldenEye. Why?
Because when I think of that, it's not a PlayStation game.
It's not a PlayStation game, but, they have this deal with MGM. Sony could just be like, hey, MGM, give us your IP. We're going to make a GoldenEye, but it's going to be on PlayStation. It's going to be perfect. What's that, MGM? You're actually run by Shuhei Yoshida? Well, then this fits into my narrative perfectly. So I'm making a GoldenEye game, and it's going to be totally modernized graphics, Pierce Brosnan will reprise his role as 007. And it's because, that game, when you look back on it, you have fond memories of it. But when you put the controller in your hands, you try to play that game, it's impossible.
Yes, it is.
So you give me dual analog sticks. You give me an actual, and I mean from the ground up, you don't touch the levels. They're perfect.
But Joe, I'll throw one back at you.
Yeah.
It had a re-release on the Wii.
We don't talk about that fucking game. You don't talk about it.
But you were able to use
you don't
dual
fucking
analog.
talk about that game. It's not the real. It's now. It's not. It's not. You were like, you killed 007. It's something stupid. It's not it. Okay, that's the game I played 15 minutes of. And I was done. Don't you dare insult. But God, that's a slap in the mouth if you ever talk to me like that again.
I'm getting slapped a lot on this podcast, and
Don't you dare. Don't you dare, boy.
I don't know why you keep coming back.
I'll take my belt out. I'll give you a whooping and a half.
If you're listening or see this, please send help.
I'll slap them too. I'll give them a whooping they never believe. I'll go slap happy. That's what I do. By God, that's what I do. You see this hand? It's done a lot of slapping in its day, and it is barely begun. GoldenEye, remaster that. And the only thing you do is you make Odd Job the same fucking size. Because the true reason why I want that remade from the ground up is I'm putting the controller in my cousin's hand and I'm beating the shit out of him because he would choose Odd Job. He's like, oh, he was the worst player, but he'd kill us all the time. Why? Because he chose Odd Job because he's the shortest character. And because you can't aim, right? You can't aim up and down in that fucking game. It's so hard to goddamn C buttons.
Mm-hmm.
He'd kill you every time. And then after I'm done beating him there, I'm going to slap him in the mouth. The beating's just begun. By God, I'm taking a Westworld approach. I'm coming into the real world. I'm slapping him in the mouth. By God. Let me tell you something, all right? Don't fuck with me. I said, listen here, boy. Slap in the mouth. PlayStation Classic full games lineup revealed. This comes from the PlayStation blog. Let's get this list out there. Let's talk about it. Battle Arena, Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto. Why did I say that in a somewhat Western accent? Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller. Mrs. Driller must be a very lucky lady. Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil. Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I mean, you gotta set that to Wumbo and then I'll play it. Siphon Filter, The Only Game That Matters, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Oh, sorry.
Could you imagine?
Leave it there. Siege. Twisted Metal, the best one. And Wild Arms.
Yeah.
This is what we'll get here in America.
Mm-hmm.
This list apparently to the internet is horrible. It is trash. It's stupid. I just canceled my pre-order. What do you say to those people, Kyle? First off, what do you feel about this list?
I actually don't mind it. Okay. I counted it up. I think half of those games that I'm really looking forward to playing, and the other half I don't have much of a memory of, so I'm excited to hop in. Like you said, Siphon Filter is huge. I love that Siphon Filter's on it. I wanted a Siphon Filter on there, so thank you.
Thank you.
The one that I'm laughing at that I love that's on there is Cool Borders 2. It's another one of those games we talked about it earlier about demo discs.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of that demo.
Really?
I love Cool Borders. So that's
You know
awesome.
who also loves it?
Who?
Donald Trump. He loves Cool Borders.
I hate you.
He builds walls on them all the time.
Stop.
We have to stop the caravan right here, right now. It starts with Cool Borders 3. We need to make the borders cool again. If they're really cool, the world will start respecting us. Because let's be honest, after Cool Borders 2, it went downhill. Sorry, continue.
Anyway, I think that the fact that I think the one game that people before we saw the full list were like it has to be on there is Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
and the fact that it's on here is awesome, because that's a game I never played fully through.
But Kyle, where's Spyro? Where's Crash? Where's
we
the
have
Skull
that
guy
in a
we're just talking
remastered
about?
edition coming this year.
Yeah, but you come out with a classic console, okay, Kyle? You come out with a classic console. I want the classic games. I want the games that remind me of PlayStation. Crash, Spyro, Spider-Man. Remember that one? That was good.
And
Treyarch made that.
I say to those people, reading this list, so these games don't scream PlayStation to you? Because there's all these games, for the most part, scream PlayStation to me. Siphon Filter, Metal Gear Solid, Oddworld, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Metal Gear Solid, Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy VII, Battle Arena Toshinden, Twisted Metal, even though it should be Twisted Metal 2, it's the better one, but whatever. Those all, to me, scream PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I think this is great. For the collector in me and for the PlayStation fan in me. I love this.
So you answered that question of, like, what are the games you want? I'll answer that one. The games I wanted in here, or the games that I'm excited to play, rather. Final Fantasy VII, never played that game, ever.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And I thought, what a better way than actually on a classic PlayStation 1 controller.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That excites me. You have Metal Gear Solid. That's another one I've never played. I watched my brother play the shit out of that game. Mm-hmm. Holy crap, I want that. Right? You have Siphon Filter. How many times did I play the demo? And I think, like, the guy, the first terrorist you name, his name's Cabbage. Or something like that.
I don't remember.
And he had, like, this gruffle voice. He's like, Cabbage. And we used to just mock that voice all the time. Have so much fun. That's a game that I constantly played on a demo disc. My brother finally got. It was in the jewel case of 5 discs. Amazing. Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege. That game was something that me and my brother hunted in Toys R Us's for months. And then we finally got it at Blockbuster. And then that's where my memory stops. I need to play that to see if it was actually really good or not. And then you got Twisted Metal, a game that I really, really love. I love it so much. I mean, there's stuff here, and I think if you wanted every single game to speak to you, well, you're being selfish, because that's not, this list isn't for you. It's a little taste of everything, and I get it. This isn't the perfect list, but there's about 5 or 6 games that I'm legitimately into that I'm going to play. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to play them all to completion. But Mr. Driller's going to play to completion. You know what I'm saying, Mrs. Driller. You know what I'm saying.
I just want to throw this out there. I put this on the dock. Japan also, their version has some different games in there.
Resident Evil was the game I wanted to play, but I was too scared.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one I want to play.
Same thing.
Rayman, Abe's Odyssey, let's go. Which we all know that Mario Odyssey just totally ripped off of.
Sure,
I'm sorry.
absolutely.
Could you talk about that Japanese lineup?
So I'll read through the Japan's lineup, what they're getting. They're getting Arc the Lad and Arc the Lad 2, which are RPGs that I didn't play. They're also getting Armored Core, which is a major franchise. Resident Evil Director's Cut, other known as Biohazard over there. Final Fantasy VII, G Darius, I don't know what that is. A Gradius game, which is awesome. Are you familiar with the Gradius games, Joe?
No.
They're side scroller shoot 'em up, like arcade, where you're a little ship and they're awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Intelligent Cube's also there. Jumping Flash, the first Persona, which we didn't talk about yet either. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Parasite Eve they're getting, which is awesome. Another Squaresoft RPG.
Parasite Eve.
Ridge Racer Type 4, Saga Frontier, Super Puzzle Fighter, Tekken 3, Toshiden, Wild Arms, and a game called Devil Dice that I'm not...
Thank God you said Toshiden and not me.
But, they have a couple other RPGs, because that's what PlayStation is known for, and I think that suits the Japan lineup well. I'm seriously considering actually maybe importing a Japan version as well.
God, I got a question for you, sir.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got Divine Intervention right here. That's the name of my pistol.
Make sure you clean it before you...
I did, by God. Oh, it went off. I rubbed it too much, by God. It got excited. Mrs. Driller knows all about that, by God. Marcus O'Neill asks,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the full PlayStation Classic lineup? Kind of answer that. Choose 3 games you would like to remove and 3 games you would like to replace them with.
Sure. I would take out Rayman. Because to me, I think of Rayman as Dreamcast and Nintendo more than PlayStation. Mm-hmm. I would take out Rayman. I would take out Sorry Joe. I would take out Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. That's not my thing. And I would take out Destruction Derby. Those would be the 3 that I would take out.
And what were some of the games you were excited for, Kyle?
None, actually, Joe. You can't take any of
mine. Well, fuck it, then everybody loses in this one. I'm taking out Metal Gear Solid. Look at that. Sure. You could have taken one for a team.
That's fine.
I'm also taking out Final Fantasy VII.
Okay. I'll just import it from Japan. That's fine.
You son of a bitch.
and the 3 I would, replace him with, Brave Fencer Musashi, which I already touched on. Tomba. Do you know Tomba? I've brought it up before.
Never in my life, sir. I mean, yes.
You're like some caveman that has to fight evil pigs, and yeah, that's awesome. And I would input another RPG, Legend of Dragoon, or my favorite RPG of all time, Star Ocean 2. One of those I would love to have on there. So those would be the 3.
All right.
Yeah. What would you input?
Man. So I think we can all get rid of Intelligent Cube, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in there. It's important for PlayStation history, but it doesn't have to be in there.
How is it important? It's just a cube.
Sure, yeah, but it was...
Let's get it out of there.
I mean, it was still...
Just get it out of there.
I think it was a highly rated game, if I'm remembering correctly.
All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Driller, but you're in retirement. I'm killing you, too. And Wild Arms. Do we care about Wild Arms enough?
I do. It's an RPG, man.
You're making this real hard for me, Kyle, and I don't...
You take out whatever you want to take out, Joe. I took out your Rainbow Six. It's fine.
I want a Mega Man game in there.
Okay.
Just any old one. Give me any old Mega Man. What else would I put in there? What else? I don't know, man. Because, for me, the PlayStation 1 never spoke to me much because I wouldn't... It's not I was a Nintendo kid back then. My cousin got the PlayStation because there was a deal made where every weekend you would bring it over and we'd have fun. We'd play with each other. So let me let's see.
Can I make a suggestion? Which I totally forgot.
Yeah, let's bring Spider-Man in here as well. Fuck yes. Okay. Let's bring Spider-Man. That's one I would add in.
I would either add Marvel vs. Capcom, one of the earlier ones.
Wait. Was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on PlayStation?
I think it was on PS1. Let me check. But the one I was thinking of is Tony Hawk, but that will never happen because of the licensing. But that is such a huge omission.
I keep on forgetting this now. Let's put Tomb Raider in there. Okay.
Oh yeah, Tomb Raider.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, because I can't believe I forgot that. Tomb Raider, Tony Hawk, Star Wars, Terracasi Arena. There you go. We're done. Greatest game of all time, some would say. With that, let's jump ahead.
Before we jump ahead, really quick. I love how they keep emphasizing that these games are preloaded. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of conspiracy stuff going around.
Yeah.
In gaming in general. I really think that you could add games to this. I really, really think so. If they keep emphasizing preloaded very clearly, why would they keep saying that?
Because they don't want you to assume that these are all in disc forms and you're feeding it into it.
There's a really big part of me that is saying that you could add or the option of putting more games on here.
Like the DualShock, like I talked about before, like DualShock with the Analog 6. Okay.
Absolutely.
There you go, Luke Lorque. Your fascination with the Analog 6 could be over. Done with. Our Flash news, and we only got 2 bits of news for Flash news, is Lenovo licenses the PSVR design from Sony for a copycat headset. This comes from Push Square, and it says, "We are pleased to announce that we have licensed the PSVR headset design to Lenovo." said Riley Russell. Oh my God, what an adorable name! Was that a dog? Chief legal. Oh, no, oh my God, what a best boy right here. He's this little guy. He's a chief legal officer at SIE.
Really quick, I thought you said Chief Beagle. I was like, yes.
Oh yeah, he's a chief beagle. Oh, they feed him with dog food. The industrial design for PSVR. He's a business dog. Yes, and he plays too rough. Anyway, it has been widely acclaimed. Okay, I'm just going to skip this. Lenovo has bought the rights to have look-alike designs. You know where you place the headset on your head? The crown portion, that's what they're taking from the PlayStation VR design, because a lot of people think the PlayStation VR is one of the most comfortable headsets out there. And it's because of that crown design. What makes this flash news is that you shouldn't buy Lenovo products. Why? Because there's Chinese spyware in there, and they will take your information, and that's really, really scary. Henry Cavill is a stoic Geralt in the first look at Netflix's The Witcher. This comes from Polygon. The GIF is everywhere.
Yeah.
My first surprise was, holy shit, already? Have you already got him dressed up?
Yeah. I think it's just a screen test, but so that makes sense, but...
Yeah, about God.
Joe?
Yes.
It doesn't look good, man. It looks like he belongs trick-or-treating right now.
He looks bad.
Yeah.
It's all because of that wig.
It's the wig. He needs some scars on the face.
He looks like, you know...
He's too handsome.
You know the Underworld? I'm thinking...
Yes.
No, not even. Okay, Walking Dead.
Sure.
What's the king's name? It has a lion.
Ezekiel?
You know how Ezekiel's wig is really bad? It's on that levels of bad to me.
I don't watch it, so I don't know.
Okay, well, it's garbage. You definitely saved time. But it's a bad wig. But when he goes and he sips whatever he's drinking, that's where this looks. That profile, he looks exactly like Geralt. It's just that wig needs to go like yesterday.
It's very bright and
it's puffy.
The same tone.
It's like, dude, we know, like, shave your head if you're gonna put a wig on like that, because it looks like you're wearing a puffy thing. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Change it. You got time, Netflix. Yep. You got time. With that, let's get to out of the flash news into the big news. Fallout. Oh, I'm sorry.
Into the more scary news, Kyle. I said this before last night, actually. Do you want to know why I use a knife, Kyle?
No, I don't, actually.
Guns are too quick. You see, you can't savor all the little emotions. You see, Kyle, in their final moments, people get to show you who they truly are. Would you like to know which one of them were cowards, Kyle?
No, I don't. I feel like whenever you do that voice, our show is now put like on a watch list somewhere. Like, that Joe's a maniac. We need to look into it.
After this month this country's been having, I wouldn't surprise. I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, before we talk about caravans and stuff, Fallout 76 bug accidentally deletes the entire 50 gigabyte download.
They said there'd be some spectacular bugs, Joe.
And they did. And they did not disappoint. Holy shit. This comes from Kotaku. Don't click any buttons. Weird. Turns out the issue, use air quotes for that one, wasn't your average freeze. It was the bug where clicking any button on the launcher client would delete the entire beta and force users to re-download the just under 50 gigabyte thing all over again. Now, this is the PC portion of this game. And yeah, Bethesda said that there would be spectacular bugs. And again, this is why I don't play on PC, right? You get stuff like this. Launchers? What's a launcher? I've never seen a launcher in my life. They talking about like Minecraft? I don't know.
That's false. You've seen launchers.
I don't know. I couldn't pick one out of the lineup if you asked me right now. Listen, this is bad, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is really bad news for this game. Does it get any worse? Like, what are your first thoughts when you hear this?
Like, it's 2018, guys. Yeah. That's my first thought. It's 2018. How do you put something out? I understand it's a beta, but how do you put something out where this can happen? Where it deletes the whole thing?
How? How did nobody...
No one encountered that before, like, in QA, before it went out? Like, that seems like a big thing.
So, okay, where is your hype on this game now that we hear this come out? Non-existent.
My hype was 0.
Now it's in the negatives.
Before this, and my hype's a little bit higher, only because I want to watch YouTube videos of the bugs that people encounter in the game.
My next question for you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this on the drive over. This game has been met with skepticism since it's been announced.
Yep.
The reviews, impressions of this game have not been positive. Like, there are some positive. It's a bit more of a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
Do you think Fallout 76 is going to... I mean, succeed is a broad term. Where do you think this game is going to land when we talk about Fallout games in terms of not just sales, but critical reception?
Wait, people remember it,
yeah.
type of thing? Yeah, I feel like they're going to remember it for the wrong reasons.
I think people are going to remember it for this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that hurts the most, because I know there's so many people that worked really hard on this game, and I don't want to see a game fail or fall. Nobody does. And we got to stop rooting for things like that. I see a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people on social media kind of like champion this idea that games are so easy to make, that it is all like flipping a switch, and you know, company A, B, and C are all taking us for a ride. When I look at this game, I know that there has to be love and tender care applied, but I don't think this game can release right now. I think this game is in a terrible spot, because if you release it right now, then I mean, it's just going to be marred by criticism, because if this bug got through, what else did? That's what probably a lot of people are thinking, and probably people are then saying, okay, I see this and I'm out. But then if you hold on to this game, you potentially get the fact that nobody cares because they already think this is going to be half-baked when it comes out.
And, I just had to double check. Game's out in 2 weeks, Joe.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
It's like, how can you have a beta a month before a game comes out like this? Like, when we think of betas, it is more of a server load test than anything. And maybe you're going to tweak some of the balancing issues, but to have bugs this late in this game, I'm sorry, but I'm very much lost interest. Yep. I think, 76 is going to be remembered as a dad and as...
as a dad?
Because Soldier 76.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. We're all dads now. He's right above me. But yeah, like, I think it's going to be remembered for the wrong reasons. I think this game's going to hurt the series. I really do think that, unfortunately.
And I feel bad for the diehard Fallout fans, like our good friend Fiona, who loves Fallout and is looking forward to this. Like, I feel bad for her.
Yep.
Because I know how much she loves it, and if it's not up to par, it sucks.
You know what doesn't suck, Kyle?
What? I was going to say it, but I'd rather not.
Mrs. Driller. Mr. Driller's been telling me all about it.
That's not what I was going to say.
Can't wait to play that game and go, wow, this was definitely not what I was expecting. Sony has now shipped over 86 million PlayStation 4 units in its lifetime. Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I was going to say, you want to read this, but you're taking a swing. Would you like to read this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This comes from our friends at DualShocker, so go give them a click. Yeah. According to the report, Sony sold 3.9 million PS4 consoles through 2 retailers by the end of the second quarter, which concluded on September 30th. Combining this number with the previously given number of 82.2 million at the end of Q1, we can now learn that the PS4 has now surpassed the 85 million units shipped mile marker, with the number now sitting at 86.1 million. It's worth noting that this figure also takes into account both the PS4 and PS4 Pro. Sony continues to chug along at a steady pace with PS4 shipments, even though this quarter's numbers are lower than that of Q2 in 2017.
Dude.
Major numbers. Major numbers.
Wow. This is so awesome. And again, congratulations. It just goes to show, man, Spider-Man pays off. And we're not, like, this is coming into the holiday season, right? This ends September 30th. There's already, and I didn't put it in the show notes, but there's already rumors of the bundles that are going to be coming out. There is, rumor has it, a $199 bundle, standard PlayStation 4 with Spider-Man.
Wow.
That thing's gonna fly off the shelves. Like, this is insane. Like, just think about the Red Dead Redemption bundles that they're going to have. The Spider-Man,
might have some God of War ones.
Like, again, this is Sony's playbook playing off to an amazing degree of, like, again, let's release our games out of the holiday window, right? Let them drop in price. We don't give a shit. A lot of people are like, well, Nintendo games are good because they never drop in price. That's not true at all. There's some bad games out there, my friend. I mean, just because your games doesn't drop in price doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means there's so many of them, they don't hold value. Just that's the name of the game. And so when you have your games drop like $20, $30, by the time Black Friday rolls around, and then the sales that are on those games, you got so many people going out there buying PlayStations, and then the attach rate to these things must be nuts afterwards. Because you're like, okay, let me throw this game in the basket, this game, that game. Bam, little Jeffrey's going to be set for life after this. This is amazing. This is amazing. Where do you think the number is going to be at the end of the year? What do you think? End
of the year?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 87.5.
By God.
That's probably way too much, but that's what I said.
I'm going to be crazy, okay?
All right, what do you say?
I got Divine and Intervention right here, by God.
Oh, it's the same gun, but different sides? Divine's one side, Intervention's the other side?
Listen here, by God. Settle down. All right, settle down. Okay,
Sorry.
I'm petting him. He might get a little out of... He might be carried away. Now, by God, I feel like a turkey sandwich on a Tuesday evening. I would like to say smoked turkey, because let's not get carried away here.
We're not animals.
We're not animals. Special occasions like these, you need a little smoked meat in your sandwich, by God. Little lettuce, a little tomato. What type of dressing we put on here? Relish, by God. That European disgustingness. You know what? A nice little lemon with a little lime mayonnaise. By God, perfection. I'm going to say 90 million.
Wow.
I'm going to be ballsy. I don't know. Who knows? Nathan writes in. Like you can too if you follow us on our Discord channel. Don't follow us. Join the Discord channel. Link down below. Ooh, I'm pointing my pistol at my testicles.
Be careful.
I'm pointing my eyeballs. And you can join the Discord, ask us questions there. Or you can follow us, PS Trophy Room, and ask us questions via Twitter. With that, Nathan writes in, with my hat to my heart, what PS exclusive would you like to see get the Spider-Man DLC treatment, by God?
So I'm assuming he means every month have something new come out?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of Spider-Man and the way that the Heist DLC felt like a comic book issue. Mm-hmm. And I think what would be really cool is if The Last of Us had DLC where you took over somebody else in another part of the universe.
Okay.
And what they deal with the clickers and the infection, and every DLC you play as somebody new to kind of build the awesome world that Naughty Dog created. So that's my pick.
Okay. My pick is a little game of the generation, actually. It's right here. Give me Bloodborne DLC every single month. That's impossible, but by God, would I love it. God,
what would that be?
What would that be? Just another like place, like one boss, one area. Every month you're just playing and you're finding out new things and cool things. You get a new weapon, new outfit, and you just have a ton of fucking fun.
My other choice was another Naughty Dog game. It was Uncharted.
Ooh.
And with that DLC, it's like a mini treasure hunt. Like a mini adventure where you go and find like another smaller treasure type of thing.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, and with that, also Nathan puts in here, also after being at EGLX, after being at EGLX, be on the lookout for Mowin' and Throwin', a fantastic game coming to the PlayStation 4 next year. Nathan, I will take a look at that.
And yeah, I have it up right now.
Ooh, okay.
I will read the description.
Yes, please.
Team up in this 4-player couch competitive game as you control gnomes to frantically mow grass. The team that trims the most wins. Yes.
Yes.
Items drop from the sky, pick up and throw a gasoline can at your lawnmower to refuel, or hurl fertilizer and rocks on your opponent's yard to make their grass grow and sabotage their progress.
Holy crap.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that actually does sound a ton of fun. Yeah. I'm in, Nathan. Let's play it together. With that, everybody, that has been the Trophy Room for this week. Halloween week, by God, and it's the end of Red Dead Redemption. What will be of this beautiful, beautiful voice? God, Lord only knows. Lord only knows.
I'm sure we'll get a bunch of it in the Impressions video.
Oh, yeah. There's also going to be Impressions video. It's going to be on Bad Bit Games. I'll also put it in this link as well. So when a big game comes out, so I can assume when Kingdom Hearts comes out or when Resident Evil comes out, we'll do Impressions videos for them as well, and we'll have them on the RSS feed. We'll also have them on YouTube as well. I think that's how I'm going to do Impressions from now on. It's just instead of like having a 5-minute video of saying the same thing, actually having a conversation about it. I think that's such a better way of doing it. With that, everybody, that is it. Also, I messed up last week. We are now a part of Spotify. So if you're into Spotify, you have the Spotify app. You can follow the show there. But in doing so, I erased the RSS feed. We lost like 30 episodes. Don't worry. Because 98% of them, all the good ones, they're there. They're on YouTube. So if you missed out on a week, go to YouTube. We have a playlist, all of the Trophy Room episodes. So if you missed one, they're all there. This shouldn't happen again. What had ended up happening is I had to jump feeds from SoundCloud over to Podbean, and you don't get to save your RSS feed alongside of it. So luckily now we're on all the platforms you can possibly be on. So you got an RSS feed, guess what? You got Outcasts or podcasts or whatever thing you have, a weird app. You got Spotify. Follow us, rate us. It helps us out, shows us that you care. It builds this community because of your help, because of you guys rating us 5 stars, being so active as you guys have been. We've seen the Trophy Room numbers. Oh my God, I'm dying. We've seen the Trophy Room numbers just blow up the past few months. So I want to thank everybody for being a part of what is becoming one of the best communities. If not, you know what? I'm just going to say, I'm going to brag a little bit. The best community on the internet. So thank you guys so much. Kyle.
Yeah.
We're doing something November 10th. Would
yeah,
you like
we
to
are,
pimp
man.
that out?
Sure. November 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time over at twitch.tv/kinda-NYC. We are doing Extra Life.
Yeah,
we're going to be streaming games for 24 hours to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Those hospitals treat kids with horrible diseases and injuries such as cancer and awful things that kids should never have to go through. So if you could, I'll give Joe the link to the page that you can put in the description box of this video. Just donate whatever you can. Any little bit helps.
Even if it's $1, guys. Even if it's $1.
Yep,
it helps so much.
Yeah, we're shooting for $1,000 as our goal, just because it goes to a great cause.
Yeah.
And we have a couple really cool goals planned. PlayStation centric. If you donate $25 and more, you're entered to win a 500 million limited edition DualShock 4 controller, which is beautiful. So if you want to go ahead and donate that, you can. If not, like Joe said, any little bit helps. And we have some incentives even lower. So yeah, check that out on the page.
There you go. I'll be there as well. If that's any incentive, or you're like, all right, now I'm out. But yeah, there's so many people part of the community that are doing it, right? We got Bohotep doing it. I saw the Quest for Pixels guys doing it. Antonio Guillen, the Mega Dads doing it. There's so many great places to give money to.
Which I'm so jealous of the Mega Dads. Yeah. I saw they're getting these awesome sponsors, like from EA, BioWare. Xbox is sponsoring them and giving them a lot of cool things to hand out, which is awesome. So whatever, even if it's not our stream, check out an Extra Life stream and just donate to whatever you feel compelled to do so. Yeah, it doesn't have to be ours. You could go again. Quest for Pixels are doing it. Antonio Guillen, Megadeth. So many people are doing it. It's so awesome. What I plan to do this paycheck is I got like $5, so I'm going to be spreading the wealth out to all my friends. And just helping out when I can. I just got to see how things pan out because I'm in the middle of midterms. That is why I didn't do or create a trophy room, Extra Life, though I would really want to. It's maybe, I'm thinking on the 9th, I will be streaming probably for Kinda Funny, I believe. Okay. So November 9th, be on the lookout for something because I'm definitely going to do it. It might not be the most beautiful stream because I'm not a streamer at all, but any little thing helps. And in any way I can give back, I will. All I know is next year we will be doing one because I'll only have, luckily, knock on wood, one class to take that entire semester. So I could play all the games. Let's go. Give them Extra Life is not only just a November thing. We can do it at any point during the year. Ooh, or multiple times a year.
That's awesome. So with all that said, everybody, there you go. On Spotify, rate us 5 stars on iTunes, rate us on all the places as you can. Subscribe to us on Bad Big Games.
Really quick, Joe.
It helps me out, yes.
Before we do that, I just want to... I was on a podcast last week that went live yesterday or today. Yeah. Go check out Growing Up Gaming at GUG Podcast on Twitter. I went on Mitch's show. We talked about me growing up with games, and we talk about demo discs and why they're awesome. And why my worst purchase ever with my own money is a Rockstar game. So there's a little tease. Go on over to that podcast and listen to it.
Boggled.
Yeah.
Boggled. All right, go over there. Go check it out. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your... Oh, wait. Wrong one. Wrong.
Let me tell you something, Hunters. Let me tell you. It's been... such a horrific episode. Yes. I wonder what brought you here. Was it the hunt or the terrible dream? Yes, Hunter. With that, a hunter must have the hunt. Keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation. I'll see you in your dreams. Good night. Sleep tight.